काफी बड़ा परिवार है मेरा, यही संसार है मेरा। हर दिन मेरी कोशिश है इसे हरा भरा रखने की, कुछ कोशिश घर को मजबूत बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश घर को जीता जागता बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश बड़ों की सेवा की, कुछ कोशिश छोटों को बड़ा बनाने की, कुछ कोशिश नई दिशाएं दिखाने की, कुछ कोशिश उत्साह जगाने की। देश नाम है मेरे संसार का, इंडिया नाम है मेरे परिवार का, टाटा कोशिश जिम्मेदारी निभाने की।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another season of Tata Crucible Corporate Quiz, the one from 22-23. That's the season we are in now. We have completed many clusters already. In fact, we have completed 11 clusters and identified 11 winners who have made it into the semi-final. The semi-final and the final, of course, this year will be in Mumbai. So we are back in Mumbai for these two large semi-finals and finals this time. And now it's time for me to identify whom among the 6 here will move into that cluster final. This, of course, is the 12th cluster. All the regions you can see on your screen there, West Bengal along with the 7 sisters forms this cluster, that is cluster 12. And with me are the 6 finalists for the first wildcard. Let me quickly introduce you to them and then move in to the wildcard. Our first finalist of the day is Rabi from Capgemini, Kolkata. There he is. Following him, representing Government of Assam, Guwahati, is Jyotish. Following Jyotish is Shivam, again from Government of Assam, Guwahati. Shaumik from Peerless Hospital, Kolkata. Representing Sale Durgapur is Anand. And of course, completing the lineup for us, representing EY, Kolkata, is Saransh. All right, there he is. They already know the rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Some of them have quizzed with us before. I think most of them have familiar faces for me, and I'm sure for you as well. Let me quickly get into the wild card. Remember, only the top 3 scorers from among the 6 of them will qualify to the cluster final. It's all about qualifying in a wild card. All right. May I please request all of you to move your phones into the camera angle, please. Their phones are their buzzers. And if all of us are ready, let's begin this wild card. The buzzers are open. Please be very careful with them. Question number 1 of this wild card. Here we go. Who bought the airline Air Deccan in India? Rabi on the buzzer. Go ahead, Rabi.
Kingfisher Airlines.
Absolutely right. Kingfisher, giving him a +1. Let's move on to question number 2. Hoka One, that is Hokaone, is a shoe brand from which country? Your options, Brazil or France. Go ahead, Anand. Go ahead, Anand. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I would guess it is Brazil.
Taking a -1 is Anand. He took a chance, but negative on that one. France is the right answer. All right, let's move on to question number 3. The whole world steps aside for the man who knows where he's going. Which brand says this? Go ahead, Jyotish.
Johnny Walker.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. We won't get into how you know this, but +1. Absolutely right. Let's move on to question number 4. Litman, filtrate, and next... Go ahead, Soumik. It does not require the entire question.
Stethoscopes.
my entire question. Litman, Filtrate and Nexcare are from which company? Your options.
3M.
Your
3M.
options were Caterpillar and 3M. You gave me
3M.
stethoscope as an answer. Shamik, I cannot accept another answer. Should have waited for me to complete the question. -1 on that. It's a chance you take as a quiz. I understand why you press the buzzer at that moment, but sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. 3M was the right one. Shamik getting a negative on that. He did know the answer, ladies and gentlemen. Just went a little too quick on the buzzer and could not anticipate what my question actually was. Let's move on to question number 5. Who owns Ben & Jerry's? Anand, go ahead.
Haagen-Dazs.
Taking a negative on that again is Anand. I had options for you, P&G or Unilever. Unilever, the right answer. Anand taking another negative on that. Let's move on to question number 6. Turmeric Vision is a business venture of which famous Indian chef? Your options, Sanjeev Kapoor or Nisha Madhulika. Anand, go ahead.
Sanjeev Kapoor.
He is very eager to negate those two negatives that he took early on in this wild card. +1 to you. Absolutely right. Sanjeev Kapoor is the right answer. He's definitely negated one -1, but he's still on another -1. Let's see what happens. Moving on to question number 7. Which brand takes its name from William Thomson, who developed the concept of absolute zero? I'll give you the options. Oh, Shomik doesn't need options. Go ahead, Shomik.
Kelvinator.
Shomik also wants to negate that -1 that he took. +1 to you. Absolutely right. +1. Kelvinator is the right answer. 3 more questions remaining. Let me tell you where all of them stand. Well, Rabi from Capgemini and Jyotish from Government of Assam Guwahati are both on +1. Anand still has one more negative that he has to negate. But other than that, the rest of them are all on nil. 3 more questions remaining. And let's not forget, top 3 scorers are the only ones who will make it into that cluster final. All right, question number 8. Applause Entertainment belongs to which corporate group? Rabi, go ahead.
Aditya Birla.
+1. Good answer there by Rabi. He was very sure about the answer. Did not wait for the options. +1. So with that, he moves on to +2. If I know quizzers right, at this point in time, he may choose to just sit back and not go for the remaining questions, but you never know. Let's move on. Penultimate question of this wild card. The Chorley wood process is a method of making which common food item? Your options, ice cream or bread. Go ahead, Anand.
I would say ice cream.
Taking a -1 again is Anand. Bread is what I was looking for as an answer. The Chorley wood process is the method of baking or making a bread. All right, the last question of this wild card. Here we go. Which fashion brand borrows its name from a king who was also known as the Citizen King? Anand, go ahead.
Louis Philippe.
Louis Philippe is the answer he gave in an attempt to redeem himself. +1 on that one. But with that answer, he is still on a negative. That is, he still has another -1. Ladies and gentlemen, I've completed the 10 questions and I only have Rabi from Capgemini and Jyotish from Government of Assam who are in the positives. Rabi, of course, with 2 points and Jyotish with 1 point. Both of them will qualify into that cluster final fair and square. But I have a tie to break now because I have to identify the third person who will join them into that cluster final. And now the tiebreaker would be between Shivam, Soumik and Saransh. All right, here we go. Tiebreaker question number 1. Which business executive is the only female representative in the ICC's board of directors? Your options, Manisha Girotra or Shivam, go ahead.
Indira Nui.
Indranu is absolutely right. Taking a +1 is Shivam from Government of Assam, and he joins Jyotish and Ravi into that cluster final. Jyotish seems to be happy that Shivam has also made it through. Both of them belong to the Government of Assam, of course. So both of them, along with Ravi, have made it into the cluster final. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. We have identified the 3 finalists. Time for me to now move on to the second wild card and figure out who will join these 3 into that cluster final. You don't go anywhere and join me in the second wild card. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tata Crucible Corporate Quiz 2022-23. This is the second wild card of the 12th cluster, which means we have already completed 11 clusters and identified 11 winners. I have also identified the first 3 who have qualified into this cluster final. And now it's time for me to move into the second wild card and identify the next 3 who will join them. This cluster, of course, contains these regions that you can find on your screen. West Bengal and the 7 sisters, all of them come under this cluster, which is cluster 12. So let me quickly introduce our finalists to you, and then we will get cracking with this wild card. Our first finalist of the day is Arnab from EY Kolkata. Up next is Deepak from Tata Steel Kolkata. Joining from KPMG Kolkata is Ankush. Following Ankush is Nirmalya representing TCS Kolkata, and Ashish from Dimocha Associate Dibrugarh. We of course had Sauradeep from Hero Motocorp who had to join us, but due to some unforeseen circumstances he couldn't join us. But like I always say, the show must go on. So we continue with this wild card. Top 3 scorers from among the 5 of them will qualify into that cluster final. Let's remember that and move into this wild card. May I request all of you to please move your phones into the camera angle, please? All right. Okay, the buzzers are open and all of them are ready. Let's begin this wild card. Question number 1. Sandoz House in South Mumbai was its first corporate office and full-service branch. It was inaugurated by then Union Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Which bank is this that started its operations in 1994? HDFC or ICICI? Deepak, go ahead.
Yeah, it's HDFC.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. HDFC giving him a +1. Let's move on to question number 2. We the People and We the Nation are books by which former TCS chairman? Go ahead, Ankush, on the buzzer.
S. Ramadorai.
Ooh, taking a negative on that is Ankush. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, Nani Palkiwala. Nani Palkiwala is what I was looking for as an answer. All right, moving on to question number 3. Gopala Ratnam Subramaniam owns Madras Talkies. How does India know him better? Deepak, go ahead.
Mani Ratnam.
I said Gopala Ratnam Subramaniam. He's absolutely right. Mani Ratnam giving him that +1 is absolutely right. Let's move on to question number 4. This company was incorporated in 1950 at Sonepat. Some of the trade names used by the company were Army, Eastern Star and Zebra. Which cycle giant am I talking about? Your options? Oh, Ankush doesn't need options. Go ahead, Ankush.
I think it's Hero Cycles.
My options were Hero Cycles or Atlas Cycles. Atlas Cycles, the right answer. Ankush getting another negative with that Hero Cycles. All right, we are moving on to question number 5. The fraud gets its name from section 419 of this country's criminal code. This refers to obtaining property under false pretenses. Ankush, go ahead.
This is the Nigerian email scam.
All right, Ankush is very eager to get back to the positives. He's on -2. I understand why he pressed the buzzer so soon. Nigeria is his answer. +1 to you. Absolutely right. Nigeria giving him that +1. Let's move on. Question number 6. Who launched Compton's Multimedia Encyclopedia, which is a CD-ROM encyclopedia, in the year 1989? This was the first software to be released on a CD-ROM. Your options: Britannica Encyclopedia or Microsoft Encyclopedia. Arnab, go ahead.
It's Britannica.
The CD-ROM encyclopedia, the first one of its kind. Britannica, absolutely right, giving him a +1. All right, moving on to question number 7. Spark.next is the vision of which company that celebrates 100 years of its existence in India?
Yeah, it's Bosch.
Bosch is his answer. Is already on 2 points. +1 to you. Absolutely right. He goes into 3 points from this answer. And we have completed 7 questions. So let me tell you where all of them stand. Like I mentioned earlier, Deepak is on 3 points. And close behind him is Arnab with 1 point. Ankush still has a -1 which he has to negate. Rest of them are on nil. Well, 3 more questions remaining. It is still possible for Ankush to very easily negate that -1 and move into the positives. So let's see what happens. Question number 8. Blue Eyes is the name of a human recognition venture initiated by this company to allow people to interact with computers in a more natural manner. Which one am I talking about? Motorola or IBM? Blue Eyes, I said. Ashish, go ahead.
IBM.
+1 to you. Absolutely right. IBM giving him that +1. The penultimate question. Here we go. Launched on Independence Day 1952, enriched with four-gear perfume, it also contained a whitish powder, hexachlorophene, better known by its trade name G11. Which famous soap am I talking about? Very famous soap, easily available in our country. Go ahead, Ankush. I think he's taking a chance.
Lifebuoy.
I thought I mentioned, okay, I said contained a whitish powder, all right. I understand why he guessed Lifebuoy. I think he went along with the 1952 that I mentioned, but he gets a -1 on that one. The right answer, synthol. Synthol is the right answer. The last question of this wild card. He may look like royalty, but he isn't royal, were the famous words of a man who conceived this character. Which mascot is this? Deepak, go ahead.
Is it the Air India Maharaja?
I think Deepak just went ahead with the buzzer because he thought, okay, nothing to lose here. Let me just take a shot. +1 to you. Absolutely
Thank
right.
you.
The Air India Maharaja is what I was looking for. With that, ladies and gentlemen, Deepak has won this wild card with 4 points. So Deepak from Tata Steels makes it into that cluster final. And joining him with 1 point each are Arnab from EY Kolkata and Ashish from Democha Associate Dibrugarh. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. We have identified the 3 who will move into the cluster final now. You don't go anywhere. Please join us in the cluster final. We will see you there.
सिमरन जी, ये महारानी कौन से ऐप पे देखने को मिलेगा?
टाटा प्लेन पिच पे देखिए सोनीलिव का महारानी, डिज्नी प्लस हॉटस्टार का करम युद्ध और ZEE5 का रनबाज जैसे शोज और मूवीज सब एक बिग ऐप पे।
गगन जी,
जी,
ये तो बच्चा बच्चा जानता है, अब तो पूछना बंद कर दीजिए।
binge from Tata Play. 14 plus apps की movies और shows एक ऐप में. Plans ₹59 से शुरू. Download now.
Friends, put your hands together to welcome on stage Quizmaster Pig Brain.
A big hello and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. You're with me, Pig Brain, here today at yet another edition of Tata Crucible for Corporates 2022-23. And this time, we go right across to the northeast and the eastern terrain of India. Well, I've spoken enough and at length in the past on how amazed we are every time we quiz people from this zone, because their basic fundamental reading habits are so solid. Their knowledge is only a natural extension of that habit. So you tend to get some really outstanding quizzers, whether it's general quizzing or business quizzing, and it is always a treat to host a quiz in this region. No different this year. We've got some outstanding contenders who've come through the preliminary rounds, through the semi-finals with my young colleague Rashmi Furtado, and now we've got the best 6 in front of us, of whom one of them will move into the nation's top 12 as a national semi-finalist. Well, this is the entire terrain that this quiz covers, or this cluster covers. We've got West Bengal, Arunachal, Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura and Assam. It's a wonderful landscape. It's also perhaps arguably the most beautiful cluster of Tata Crucible. One can certainly argue on that, but I would believe it would be one of the most beautiful terrains that you would have a Tata Crucible. As we progress further into this digital cum physical model, or whatever hybrid model one would call it, the semi-finals and the finals would be a ground event, and that would be at the Taj Land's End. So we get back to the Taj finally, and will slowly progress into a full ground event eventually. But for now, the rules of the game remain the same. 24 questions, 50 the value, plus or minus, 5 seconds the time. But for the many that watch a Tata Crucible digitally now, and in 2022 we clocked more than 15 million viewers for Tata Crucible. You heard that right, and that's really humbling to see India appreciating a knowledge sport like this. Well, every single of our episodes is a proctored environment. What that means is there is someone from our end with the contestants to ensure that they are playing in a fair environment. So be rest assured that it's absolutely fair and square the way we are organizing this. But for the moment, I've always believed quizzers at this level with their reputations wouldn't really indulge in anything, but nonetheless, for the sake of fair play, we do have these mechanisms in place from the Tatas. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the world has moved on and moved forward from the pandemic to a post-pandemic arena where all corporates are looking for people to step up, to strike gold and to stand tall. Those are the mantras that you get to hear, and it's no different here at Tata Crucible as we invoke those key words or those mantras of the corporates into our quiz. Time for us to get started, but before I get to our questions, it's my pleasure and privilege from this region to introduce you to our 6 finalists. As our first contender here today, we have with us the ever consistent Ravi Shankar Saha. Welcome to you from Capgemini. He's a multiple-time champion and will be a tough one or a tough nut to crack, and the other 5 only know that too well. A serious challenger coming from the government of Assam. Jyotish is a young quizzer who's graduated from the campuses to the corporate, can be a really handful contender on his day. Welcome, Jyotish. Shivam, no stranger to this region, no stranger to this quiz final, representing the government of Assam. On his day, he can create a flurry as well. Welcome to you, Shivam. Our next contender is from a consulting firm which may start soon saying quizzers will be recruited at Ernst & Young. They seem to be doing very well at Tata Crucible this year. Representing Ernst & Young from Kolkata is Arnab. Welcome to you, Arnab. If there is one company that has been consistent across the years of Tata Crucible to qualify with various qualifiers, that would undoubtedly be Tata Steel. Representing that steel giant here today is Deepak. Welcome to you, Deepak. And completing our lineup here today from Demoja in Dibrugarh, our finalist here today, Ashish. Welcome to you. Those then, ladies and gentlemen, the 6 contenders as we move into play this cluster number 12 of Tata Crucible, before we move into the big semi-finals. Time for us to pick action on the first frontier of our game here today. Time for our contestants to step up. Here it is. Hands on the buzzer, questions will appear on your screen as we start with the first one. Coming up on your screen, 50 the value. Here it is. This is a very interesting campaign by a Tata brand. Ashish has gone for it. Go ahead, Ashish.
This is TCPL, Tata Consumer Private Limited.
Well,
Public Engineer.
The moment you show water, the moment you say still or sparkling, the tendency is to think that way. It's a crafty first question for a region like this, which likes to be sometimes bold googlies, and this was one of them. I thought it's a good first question to throw out the answer, and I said, now Tata brand, and that word now was important. The answer, Air India. Air India's campaign 2022, big news in this country. Ashish taking a negative with a quick hit. They'll recover all of that. They're very good quizzers. As we go to the next one on your screen now. Who is this entrepreneur? Ravi Shankar has gone for it very quickly. Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, this is Rene Jingfrey of Hawaii, of China. Okay.
Absolutely well played. Perfect, no nonsense. First 50 to Ravi. He's got it perfectly right. Powerful man, ex-military man today, a big entrepreneur. Third one on your screens now. Retired banker of great repute wrote this book, Prepare for the Unknown. Well, turned out like a prophecy during the pandemic. Who is this famous Indian lady from the banking sector? Iconic, very respected lady from a public sector bank to leading. Kumar has gone for it. Yes, Shivam, go ahead.
Arunachal Bhattacharya.
Well played. Extremely well played from the government of Assam. He's got it right. From SBI to Salesforce, it's Arundhati Bhattacharya. As we go to the next one on your screens now. It's a print version of a famous app. Left, right. Yes is equal to yes. Robbie is going for it. Yes, Robbie.
This is Tinder.
Clever. Clever, very clever, beautiful campaign. Swipe left, swipe right, and it is Tinder. He moves on to 100. As we go to the next one on your screen, overall answer is what matters. On your screen now. Careful, current affairs. Huge giant in India. Ravi Shankar is giving it a shot, yes?
I will say this is NDTV.
Explain. Go on.
This is Punay Roy's wife and Radhika Roy, and they have been behind all these Rafael deals, the 9/11 in Mumbai, and then other things. So Radhika Roy and the entire thing is NDTV.
Ravi Shankar will get another 50. Beautifully played. Current affairs. They've been in the news, they would say, for not so friendly reasons, but life moves on at NDTV. As we move on to the next one, hands on that buzzer. It can be a quick one. Again, the overall answer is what matters. Here it is. All of these will lead you to an extremely important brand. Leading the way, Arnab's gone for it. Go ahead, Arnab.
Because you told brand, I think it's going to be Paytm.
Oh, Berkshire Hathaway was a big clue. Minus to Arnab there. He'll take a minus 50 on that. They're really taking a lot of strides in terms of environment consciousness is Duracell. Tough one there for you on Duracell. But for us, of course, when it comes to energy, when it comes to environment, our partner, of course, is Tata Nexon. And they're really leading the way in India on the environmental side of automobiles.
You gotta move it to the max. You gotta move it in the show. You gotta move it, move it, move it to the max.
The new Nexon EV Max moves you to the max.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, early terrain here. Ravi getting off to a quick start like he normally does. But let me ask you a couple of audience questions before we move back to the terrain. Well, let me start with the first one. All you got to do, of course, is to key in the answers into that chat box. If you're quick and fast and correct, you can win a prize from the Tatas. All right. This one's for all the school children who watch this, and we've got a huge number of following now. Let me ask you this one. The term gambit is often used in the corporate world as strategy. It comes from which sport? Soccer or chess? Key in the answers quickly as we get back to Tata Crucible from Cluster 12. But for the moment, early days in our final here today, we will move to the Tata Play binge board to take a look at who's binging at this stage. Ravi on to an early lead. How much is he on? He's on 150. We've got Shivam on 50 and the rest yet to score to get to Ravi, so to say. The negatives will get erased quickly. That's my understanding of a region like this. But Ravi is looking good. He's on to an early start or a customary kind of a start. He's on 150. As we move to the second frontier of our game here today, it's time for them to strike gold. Here it is. Hands on the buzzer as we start with the first one. Scoring pattern remains the same. Question on your screen now. This is a very important stamp from a Tata company. It became historic over a period of time in the Indian landscape, so to say. Which Tata company would you associate to this stamp? Interesting. No one on the buzzer on this, and well, the answer was a tricky one. It's a quality stamp which led to people actually carrying Tata OK, in fact, on the back of automobiles and so on in the historic past. The answer is Tata Motors. Well, turns out to be a tough one. Today they're using the same brand basically for buying, selling, exchanging of trucks, and it's a beautiful leverage from their past to create a brand. So no one taking a shot on that one. As we go to the next one, overall answers are what matters here. On your screen, here it is. It's a great brand with a great attitude. To have and have not. All these are big clues. Mahesh Mahadevan is an important man. for this brand. The way we serve is their CSR. Huge brand in the world. Anybody going for it? Well, the eastern terrain is usually a tough one. No one on that. 5 seconds running away. The answer that you would have arrived at from all of these would be Bacardi. Turns out to be a tough one. Rabi says, oh, I should have gone for it. Well, the way we serve was a good one for a CSR clue. On to the next one on screen now. Very important brand. Swimming is an important clue. Ravi Shankar is giving it a shot. Swimming is an important clue, I said. Go on.
Just a minute. This is the Australian swimwear brand.
5 seconds, Robbie. You're on the buzzer.
I am. Its name start from S. Sorry, I forgot. I'm not recalling back.
Doesn't happen normally to Ravi Shankar. This time it has. He's going to kick himself when I give the answer because he came so close. Speedo, the answer that I was looking for. Well, he's upset with himself, and sometimes quizzers can be like schoolboys getting upset over a wrong answer. He's too good a quizzer to get upset over one. But nonetheless, it is a negative and it's a minus 50 that I need to give him. As we go to the next one on your screens now. This is an eatery brand. A brand that you would find with more than 50 outlets in India, United Arab Emirates. The founder is on your screen. His name is Haji. Deepak's gone for it. Yes, Deepak. Extremely famous eat out. Yes.
This is a biryani brand from Hyderabad. Just a moment. So this is Bawarchi.
Well, he'll take a minus 50 on that. I thought you'll actually say paradise when you said Hyderabad biryani, but the answer is not from that region. Actually, this is Haji Karimuddin, and the answer is Kareem's. The famous Kareem's, and the question's turning out to be tough here. The negatives are this time beginning to increase because the questions seem to be a little proby. And we go to the next one on your screen now. Celebrating the Chinese Year of the Tiger is this famous brand. Their parent company is Kering. Arnab's gone for it. Yes, Arnab?
Guessing this is Gucci.
Superbly played. Superbly played. He's got himself a 50 on that one, negating his negative. And we move to the next one, the final one in this round on your screen now. Let's learn from the wild, said the government of India. What were they promoting? Ashish is going for it. Yes, Ashish.
They're promoting yoga.
Promoting yoga. Well, government of India promoting yoga. The Ministry of Environment clubbing it beautifully and saying animals perform their own share of yoga every day. Beautiful answer, 50 to him. He'll get that right. And healthcare was really the more important message India was trying to give. For us, of course, the health and wellness partner here is Tata 1mg, and they strongly advocate proactive healthcare and not taking care only when we are warned to do so.
You may be far, but we know how much you care. That's why you can book tests anytime from anywhere.
Halfway mark here today at Tata Crucible. Things are still looking even, Stephen. Like I said, people making a comeback from the negatives, which is very healthy. Anything can still happen in this terrain. But I've got a couple of questions to ask you. Here is my question to you. Known as Berlina in some parts of Europe, it basically gets derived from an Italian term for carried chair. What in the world of types of cars am I talking about? Key in your answer. 5 letters for your answer. That's a good clue. Try and figure it out quickly as I ask you my next question. Here's my next question to you. Known as fulgurite, that's Fulgurites. These are natural phenomena that actually occur with compounds of sand. What triggers a fulgurite? What triggers a fulgurite? It's essentially a natural phenomenon. Well, answer quickly, not an easy one, but these are beautiful formations that one can find especially in sandy areas. Getting back to our contest here, Tata Crucible Corporate, the eastern terrain, tough as it is. Here we go. Well, on that note, we'll move to the Tata Play binge board to take a look at where it stands. It's getting a little tense, not so tense, but tense, because 3 of them are on nil and they're coming back from negatives, which is good. Shivam still on 50, Ravi's come down to 100. As we move on to the next frontier, someone's going to stand tall. Here it is. Scoring remains the same. The tensions will increase as we go to the next one, or the first one in this frontier on your screen now. This is a brand campaign called Everyday Marlin. The off-screen Marlon Monroe was presented as a humanitarian, an artist, an entrepreneur by a US departmental store. They recently created and designed and streamlined assortment of wardrobes under this beautiful limited edition idea. It turned out to be a smashing hit. Which famous US departmental store are we talking about? 5 seconds of time. Huge campaign. Jyotish is giving it a shot. Go ahead, Jyotish.
Macy's.
Well, I think he was tossing in his mind between Macy's and probably JCPenney. JCPenney, the right answer. Big news, actually. So these are ones, if you've read it, you know it. Otherwise, it's tough to figure the answer out. As we move to the next question on your screens. Now, Swati and Rohan, 2013, they're a husband and wife duo. They created a very important app for coupons and cashbacks in India. Jyotish has gone for it.
Cash Karo.
Well played. Very quickly negating the negative. He's back to where he started, but he'll need to get a few positives. He's too good a quizzer to stay on nil. On to the next one on your screens now. Arman, Ajay and Ashwajit. They used to work with different firms. And they created a huge... Oh, they've gone for it. Ashish is on the buzzer. Yes, Ashish?
They launched a Sleepy Owl, the coffee brand.
Beautifully played. Oh, very, very beautifully played. They're now talking close to 2,000 outlets. Huge scaling by Sleepy Owl, the coffee brand which they created from a 2-bedroom apartment in Dwarka in Delhi. As we go to the next one, hands on that buzzer. Question on your screen now. Being family is a huge positioning of a global innerwear brand. Their foundation is being family. It's a very big foundation which Jyotish is stopping me there. Go ahead, Jyotish.
Calvin Klein.
Oh, being family, making a mistake on that one. The answer was Jockey. The Jockey Foundation, tough one. Robbie knew that. He didn't go for it. Well, moving on. Slightly more traditional kind of question coming up on your screen now. This gentleman is R.K. Arora. He was all over the news recently for a housing project near Delhi. Arnab's gone for it. Yes, Arnab?
The super twin towers in Noida.
The Twin Towers in Noida. What's the name you mentioned?
I was going to say Super Tech, but I wasn't sure of it, so I just told Twin Towers.
Which is the correct answer. Super Tech is actually the right answer. Well answered on that one. They were all over the news for that fascinating demolition or implosion as we watched it on television and otherwise. It gets him a good 50. The battle's beginning to get a little nervous, like I told you. We've got one more to go, and then let's see how it's going to shape up in the final frontier. Robbie's not been buzzing even on questions that he's probably knowing the answer. So he's playing a calculative game. As we go to the final one on your screen now. 3 dots to create a Ganesha. Which famous brand promotes its offerings during Ganesh Chaturthi by creating Ganeshas with 3 dots? Crafty question. Think and answer. Huge food giant. Ganesha loves his food. Jyotish is going for it. Yes, Jyotish.
Domino's.
Lovely. Lovely, clever answer by him. Domino's actually picked on the 3 dots and started creating What If Ganesha Loved His Domino's. Beautifully played. It gets him an important 50 to get him back in striking distance. But I tell you what, this binge board does not have anybody binging, but everybody's playing well. Tata Play binge board tells this story. Oh, look at that. The quality of a quiz in East and Northeast comes out. No one's going to give up. Everyone's been making a comeback. Jyotish on nil, but that's a comeback score. Shivam's on 50, Arnab's on 50, Ashish on 50. All of them just one answer away from Robbie, who's on 100. One final frontier remaining. It's time for us to celebrate India. Here it is. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of Indian independence. The whole nation has been celebrating it and saluting our great contributors over the last year. And as we inch closer to the culmination of that year, we here at Tata Crucible celebrate the business side of India. The brands, the campaigns, the pioneers, the products, the mavericks, all of them, as we salute them with our questions. The final 6 questions are from me, all related to India. 50 the value, you're allowed to press the buzzer and stop me from continuing to read the question if you think it's sufficient for you to answer. If you are ready, 6 final questions will also tell us who among these 6 is making that journey to the national semi-final of Tata Crucible this year. Question number 1. Hands on the buzzer. Just listen to me. Nothing appearing on your screens. Here we go. Everybody knows that Gwalior Suitings was the first ad to appear on Indian television. In 1983, television commercials became fully paid and color. Which brand was the first paid color TV commercial? It was actually like a full-scale Bond or James Bondish ad with guns, bullets, swords, daggers, all of that. Which famous brand? A suiting brand or an apparel brand? Deepak is giving it a shot. Yes, Deepak.
Is it Grasim Suitings?
Clever thinking. The answer specifically is what I was looking for. Bombay Dyeing. Well, I was looking for a brand and Bombay Dyeing would have been the answer. So we'll have to give you a negative on that, Deepak. As we go to the next one, hands on the buzzer. Hear me out. It's a company that was started in 1971 by a housewife at that time. Later became a politician, 4-time member of parliament. She was the widow of an army man. She availed a rehabilitation scheme from the army to obtain a license and a permit for a particular business. She started finding a financial banker, and with some help, Ravi Shankar is stopping the story.
Sehnaz Hussain.
Sehnaz Hussain will give him a -50 that he does not want. Ravi Shankar has landed himself in trouble. The answer is the late Sheila Gautam and the Sheila foam, which today we know as Sleep Well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 4 questions to go, but this battle is looking brilliant. We've got Ravi Shankar on 50, Shivam on 50, Arnab on 50, Ashish on 50, and Jyotish on nil, which means he can strike with just one answer. What a situation here today. 4 questions to go. Here's the next one. Hands on the buzzer. This is the life of a famous quizzer, entrepreneur, philanthropist, co-founder of Avanti Finance, along with Ratan Tata, economist Vijay Kelkar, Ravi Shankar, a famous Indian who I'm describing differently. Quizzer. Go ahead, Ravi, you're on the buzzer.
I will say Jairam Ramesh.
Ravi Shankar is taking his chances today, minus 50. Jairam Ramesh is a quizzer, but I wouldn't expect a Jairam Ramesh with a Ratan Tata. That was, now he's realizing where he's making his folly. The answer, Nandan Nilekani. Well, a minus 50 to Ravi Shankar. He's putting pressure on himself here today. 3 questions to go. Here's the next one. Hands on the buzzer. 3 friends, Ashish, Parikshit, Rajesh, were on a holiday trip to South Africa. Big Tree Entertainment was conceived. Ravi Shankar is not giving up. Go ahead, Ravi.
Book my show.
He's back on the positive, plus 50. Oh, he's fighting his way back. 2 questions to go. Let's see how this game is going to go. Here's the next one. I am a hosiery brand. My origins go back to 1972 in India with Deen Dayal Gupta. The brand is extremely strong and popular. Currently features Akshay Kumar as an ambassador. CSR initiatives of this firm include a lot of activities. One of my important arms, Ravi Shankar.
This is dollar.
Dollar. As in the dollar industries or the dollar as an apparel. From the world of Bhavani textiles to dollar, Ravi Shankar will get the 50 he wants. Ravi Shankar is playing with a lot of courage and a lot of heart here today because he's forcing himself to take chances. And the only reason he has to do that is his own doing. He's landed himself in a position where he had to do it. But one final question. So he can't lose from here unless someone gets a 50 and forces a tiebreaker. A tiebreaker is a surety here because we've got 3 of them on 50. So we may end up with a tiebreaker for a runner-up situation, even if it's not for the winner. But I just get a feeling someone will give it a go. Here is my final question. Kamal Kushlani created this brand inspired by a term from the Armed Forces of India for not wearing an uniform. Founded in 1998 with humble origins of 10,000 rupees as a bank loan from his maternal uncle, he took the rest of the money. Started a business called Mr. and Mr. Sold shirts for men. Later, the brand got distributed and marketed by Credo Brands. It's derived from a word that is used in the armed forces for appearing without wearing the uniform. And it's a usual tactic. Deepak has gone for it. Yes, Deepak?
Commando.
Commando. Well, Deepak's enjoying the quiz now. He knows that well. He does not have a say in this final. He's good when he can be good, but today was not his day. Ravi Shankar is happy Deepak went for that buzzer. Otherwise, it could have been a tense moment for him. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is mufti. Mufti is clothing that is not uniformed. And sometimes when they are actually on investigative roles, they wear mufti uniform, as it's called. We'll take a look at the binge board to see who's on a tiebreaker. Tiebreaker for sure. Here at the Eastern Terrain cluster of Tata Crucible. There you are. Ravi Shankar Saha will not be happy with that score. And that is something I can look at that expression. He's quizzed way too many times. He's too good a quizzer. It's not about winning. For some of these people, it's how you play the game. And I don't think he'll be happy with his 100, but he'll tell himself, fine, sometimes you have a tricky wicket and you still get to the next round. So he'll still finish champion. But we've got a tiebreaker between Shivam, Arnab and Ashish. So I'm going to go straight into my tiebreaker questions to you guys. Whoever gets it right wins the second place. All right. Let me start with the first one. Here we go. Hands on the buzzer. Monisha Calton-Bourne. Monisha Calton-Bourne became the first female to be a team principal when she took over from Peter. Which sport in the world saw a first female principal taking over from a gentleman called Peter? Her name was Monisha. Shivam's going for it. Yes, Shivam.
Formula 1. Formula 1.
In Formula 1 racing, Monisha became the first ever principal F1. You know which team it was?
Lauren FC. Lauren something. As far as I remember, I cannot recall the exact
Sauber. Sauber was the team. If I'm not wrong, Sauber would be Peter Sauber. So Sauber F1 is the team. And Shivam will win the runner-up title on that one. He's battled with a little bit of connectivity issues, but nothing's going to matter now because he is our runner-up here today. We'll take a look at that binge board which tells the story. Shivam, battling more with connectivity than anything else, will finish runner-up from the government of Assam. Jyotish has had a quiet day by his standards. The others have played their best. But Ravi Shankar will win another title and move into the national semi-final. At this moment, ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure and privilege to bring in our guest of honor, a very experienced person from an industry which is represented by Deepak here today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure and privilege to present before you a young leader from the Tata fraternity. With more than 2 decades of experience in the steel terrain and in the core industries of our country, he is someone who's seen the length and breadth of India and has shaped the productization stages of Tata Steel. Ashiana, Sampurna are all great brands today which have nurtured themselves under his leadership. He's an alumnus of 2 institutes, both of which do very well at Tata Crucible. The College of Engineering from Guindy and XLRI Jamshedpur, both remarkable quizzing colleges. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, as Chief of Marketing and Sales of Tata Tiscon's retail vertical, it's our pleasure and privilege to have with us from Tata Steel, Mr. Karthik Narayanan. Welcome, Karthik, to our final here today.
Thank you so much, Giri, for the wonderful introduction, and it's a complete pleasure to be part of this event. Tata Crucible is something which I've been following, though I'm not a very good quizzer. And I was just looking at the questions and the way each of the participants were responding. It was fabulous. So I just want to first start, by complimenting you, Giri. I think the way you make quizzing so fun and exciting, not just for the participants, but also for the people watching it. It makes someone to actually get into quizzing or, read up more on the news. So thank you for being that passionate quizzer that you are. And I had I had the pleasure of, seeing you live last month at Bombay at the Tata Business Excellence Conference. So nice to see you again on this platform. My compliments to the organizers of the Tata Crucible quiz. As a marketer, you always want to actually reach to your consumer, to your target audience. And I think they've done a fantastic job of taking the benefit of COVID, taking the benefit of work from home, taking the benefit of digital. And it's nice to see almost all the participants actually, quizzing from home, or I would say quizzing from office, which will lead to probably quizzing to anywhere. So it doesn't matter which part of the country you are. If you're a good quizzer, you can win the Tata Crucible. So my compliments to the Tata Crucible team for actually taking it and making it a truly, a pan-India event. Last but not the least, my compliments to all the participants. I guess you guys all did fabulously well. I think each one of you are truly fantastic, quizzers. But of course, Ravi Shankar, compliments to you and and looking forward to seeing you move to the finals and win. So wish you all the very best. Thanks once again for giving me an opportunity to be part of the event, and looking forward to seeing this Tata Crucible event grow from strength to strength and celebrate many milestones in the coming years. Thank you, and over to you.
Thanks, Karthik. Thank you so much. Sometimes when people from Tata Steel say thank you to us, we feel embarrassed because it all started in your Steelanium auditorium. So it's a journey of a Tata Crucible which started from there. Trivia for you, that's the only time they allowed us inside the Steelanium hall. After that, they threw it out. They said, you guys bring in too much of wood, we won't let you in. So we've never been there. But then thankfully we had XLRI, which has a fabulous auditorium. So we always do it there. And we look forward to being back on ground. But truly appreciate your time and the lovely words of encouragement. We'll ask you to just stand by as we do the digital awards. It's also nice to see this terrain where people from government, and I've been playing a government stint recently, so I understand the great contribution these guys make to the government. Lovely to see them doing so well. This time around finishing runner-up from the government of Assam, Shivam. Congratulations to you. Extremely well done. Never easy to be a runner-up in this terrain. Good show and well done. And ladies and gentlemen, well, sometimes like in the world of cricket or like in the world of soccer, whichever way you look at it, you can have a match which doesn't get you a huge number of goals or scores, but you still need nerves of steel, as I would call it, in this terrain to go through. Ravi Shankar losing ground and then coming back. He really regrouped himself very quickly, and that was the hallmark of a champion. I think what he should tell himself is, I gave 2 bad answers. If I had not given that, I was still on 250 or 300. So it's not as if he's played badly. It's just that, you know, the score reflects the 2 errors in greater magnitude. But I think, like Karthik said, he will be telling himself, I need to move forward and look at winning that big crown. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, our champion, Ravi Shankar from Capgemini, Kolkata. Congratulations to you, Ravi. And ladies and gentlemen, time for us to thank our chief guest. Thank you so much, Karthik, for taking time off and joining us. Truly appreciate your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Marketing and Sales from Tata Tiscon, Mr. Karthik Narayanan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and wishing the team all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of that really tough cluster, every year you get something remarkable. This time we saw 2 contests, Ravi Shankar versus the others, Ravi Shankar versus Ravi Shankar. It doesn't happen too often, but he really created that situation for himself. He's allowing that smile finally, but he, I think, will definitely regroup before he gets to Mumbai. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, as we find Ravi Shankar Saha moving forward from this terrain, we will come back to you with the big semi-finals of Tata Crucible for campuses 2022-23. Till then, from me, Pig Brain, from my colleague Rashmi Furtado, to all of you watching this, thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.